Subtracting decimals. When subtracting decimals, we must line up the decimals. It is very important that we may need to add additional zeros to line up. And we're going to begin subtracting from the right, and we're going to move to the left. So let's look at an example. Example 1. Ben went into AutoZone to buy an oil filter and windshield wiper blades. The cost with tax was $41.14, and Ben paid $45 cash. What was his change back? So what we're going to do is we're going to put the larger number on top, which is $45. And then we have 41.14. As it's a smaller number, I'll put it below the 45. Now, we have a decimal here, and technically we have a decimal right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to need to add additional zeros to subtract. And then we start on the right, and we're going to move to our left. So we begin with 0 minus 4, which is can't be done. So we're going to need to go ahead and borrow. And we can't borrow from this 0, as it's 0. So we need to take this 5 and make it a 4. So we're borrowing a whole 1, and then we're going to make, now there's 10 tenths. So then we're going to make this 1 lower to borrow a whole tenth, and then 4 hundredths. And then now we have 10 tenths, which is 100. So this 10 represents that. So now we have 10 minus 4, which is equal to 6. Now we have 9 minus 1, which is 8. Then we're going to bring down that decimal straight down. So now we have 4 minus 1, which is 3. And then 4 minus 4, which is 0. So we're left with $3.86. And this would be the solution to this problem. So let's look at another example. Example 2. The odometer read 78,456.8 miles. Then the family went on a trip. The odometer then read 81,535.5 miles. How many miles did they travel for their trip? So we're going to put the larger number on the top again. So we have 81,535.5. Then we have 78,456.8. So we have lined up our decimals. We don't need to add any additional zeros, so we can begin subtracting starting on the right. So we can go 5 minus 8, which can't be done because 5 is smaller than 8. So we need to go ahead and borrow from the one spot, which is directly to the left of it. So this 5 becomes a 4, and we're going to place a 1 there, so now it's 15. So 15 minus 8 is 7. Then we're going to bring down that decimal. Now 4 minus 6 can't be done, so we need to borrow. So this 3 becomes a 2, and this 4 now becomes a 14. So 14 minus 6 is 8. Then we have 2 minus 5, which can't be done because 2 is smaller, so we're going to need to borrow. So the 5 becomes a 4, and this becomes a 12. So 12 minus 5 is 7. 4 minus 4 is 0. Then 1 minus 8 can't be done, so we're going to need to borrow. So we have the 7 there, and this becomes 11. So we have 11 minus 8 is 3, and 7 minus 7 is 0. So the family trip was 3,078.7 miles. So let's look at another example. Example 3. A new piston has a diameter of 3.625. The older worn piston has a diameter of 3.6107. What is the size difference between the two? So how we do this is we're going to put the larger number on the top, which is the 3.625, as 0.62 is greater than 0.61. So we have 3.625, And then we subtract 3.6107. And so we're going to need to add an additional 0 here. And then we can begin subtracting. Except 0 minus 7 can't be done. So we're going to need to go ahead and borrow from the 5. Make it a 4. Now this is 10. So 10 minus 7 is 3. 4 minus 0 is 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. 6 minus 6 is 0. Bring down that decimal. 3 minus 3 is 0. So the size difference between the two is 0.0143. So let's go ahead and do one final example. Example 4. A cylinder diameter measures 3.1256 inches at the top and 3.1197 inches at the bottom. How much taper does the cylinder have? So once again, we're going to put the larger number on the top. This is the larger number, as 3.1256 is larger than the 3.1197. Now we're going to subtract. Starting on the far right, 6 minus 7 can't be done. So we need to borrow from this 5, so that becomes a 4. Now we have 16 minus 7, which is 9. Then we move to the left one. 4 minus 9 can't be done, so we're going to need to borrow directly to the left of it. So that 2 becomes a 1, and now this becomes 14. So 14 minus 9 is equal to 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. Bring down the decimal straight down, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So how much taper does it have? Is 0.0059 inches. And this would be the final solution.